Good morning, boys and girls, moms and dads. Welcome back to our WSF Kids Live service. We're so glad that you guys are here. Before we get started, we have two announcements that we want to talk to you guys about. We have two things coming up that we are excited about. So on June 6th, it's a Saturday night, we are having our drive-in movie. Yeah, remember those things, those drive-in movie theaters? Well, you can't go to the movies right now, so we are creating our own drive-in movie here at the church on June 6th, starting at 7:30. June 6th, 7:30 here at the church in the parking lot. We are creating our own drive-in theater where you can pull up and there's gonna be a huge movie screen that you guys can watch the movie. And so there's gonna be more details in the WSF Kids email this week. So please open those emails this week. And if you don't get the email, please email us at WSFkids@WSFirst.com and we'll get you on that email list. So our drive-in movie coming up on June 6th is gonna be amazing. Our next thing on June 14th, it's a Sunday, June 14th at 12 p.m., we're gonna be having a BGMC missions drive-through where the kids and the parents and anyone else, you don't have to be a kid, you don't have to have a kid to participate in this. We wanna be able to support our missionaries and bless our missionaries around the world that are still answering the call of missions. Missions is still going on, but they're losing support, and so we wanna be able to continue to support them. So on June 14th at 12 p.m., you can drive through and drop off your money to give to missions, to give to BGMC. We want to be able to be a blessing to those that are a blessing around the world. But here's the thing, if you bring in some missions offering, some missions money for BGMC that Sunday from 12 to 3, you're gonna get to dunk me in a dunk tank. Yes, you're gonna get to dunk me in a dunk tank. You're gonna drive through, you're gonna drop off your money, you're gonna go around the corner towards the east foyer, and I'm gonna be there in a dunk tank, and you're gonna get to throw a ball at me to see if you can dunk me in a dunk tank. It's gonna be exciting. So again, that's June 14th. It's a Sunday from 12 to 3. We hope that you guys come and help support our missionaries and get to dunk me. And if we raise a certain amount of money, I don't know that amount yet. I'll put it in the email that's coming up the next couple of weeks. I will have to do something crazy. I don't know what it is yet. I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about it. I'm gonna do something crazy, maybe color my hair like a strawberry or something. I've seen some kids pastors doing that, but we're gonna raise some money for missions, and we hope that you can help support our missionaries around the world and give on that Sunday. And so, here we are, our service. We're in it, boys and girls, moms and dads. We are continuing our series called I Know It Sounds Crazy, but It Is True. And we have an awesome Bible story for you guys today. We are in the story still of Ruth. And so let me ask you a question, boys and girls. Have you ever had a bad day? Just think about it a second. Have you had a bad day? We all have bad days, so there's probably a day we can think of. Maybe it's just the fact that we're stuck at home for so much right now, so many weeks, so many months, and maybe you've had a few bad months. But think about it real quick. And as you're thinking about it, we're gonna be talking about Ruth today. So she didn't just have a bad day. She has had a bad life leading up to the story today. You know, it's crazy what has happened to Ruth. So she has had a bad life. And so we're going to learn more about Ruth, and we're going to talk about someone new today in the story called Boaz. So we're going to be talking about Ruth and Boaz today. But before we get to that, let's check out this video.
Welcome back, everyone, as we continue our series, I Know It Sounds Crazy, but It's True. Consider this week to be Ruth and Naomi, Part 2. Who are Ruth and Naomi? The two women we talked about last week. Was I even here for that? You got turned into a cheeseburger. Oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
Quiet, you. He's got beef with the professor.
That is funny.
Guys, enough. They started it. Now, like I was saying, we're talking about Ruth and Naomi. Now, last week, Ruth and Naomi were left with nothing. No food, no money, no house, nothing except each other. They were in a really rough situation. Back then, if you were a woman their age and you weren't married, society thought you were basically worthless. Like a bologna-flavored lollipop.
Ooh.
Sure, whatever that means.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
Ruth and Naomi were in a terrible situation, but one of God's favorite things to do is to take something bad and turn it into good. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. If you're going through a terrible time, God can use it and turn it around into something amazing. In today's lesson, Ruth and Naomi are going to meet a man named Boaz.
Oh, come on.
What?
That is not his real name.
Yeah, it is. We've had Ehud,
Gideon.
Nebuchadnezzar!
And now Boaz?
yes, that was his name, and he plays an incredibly important part in Bible history. Through him, God takes a terrible situation and turns it into something amazing. So what do you think happens next? Are the hard times for Ruth and Naomi really over? How's God gonna fix this? Find out in today's lesson.
And is Boaz really his name?
For the last time, yes. Oh, Professor,
It's the best part of my day.
hit the...
No!
What?
Don't touch that button.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
I've got another one.
Wait, no?
Haha!
Why me?
Boys and girls, wow, Ruth's life took some crazy turns when she decided to stay with her mother-in-law, Naomi. Wow, what a crazy story that we're going to hear today. And I don't want to ruin too much of the Bible story yet because we're going to get into it a little bit later today. And we're going to be talking about Boaz, a new character that's getting introduced to our Bible story today. But before we get to any of that, we need to do my favorite thing of the day. I love worshiping with you guys. And so let's jump into worship.
To something good. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it takes. There's nothing your love won't endure. I know that you are always up to something good. Something good. Through the darkest night, you are on my side. You were always faithful. Through my fear and doubt, you will lead me out. You were always able. Through the darkest night, you are on my side. You will always faithful. Through my fear and doubt, you will lead me out. I know that you are always up to something good. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it takes. There's nothing your love won't endure. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it
was an amazing time of worship this morning, boys and girls. It is a highlight of my week that I get to worship with you every single week. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to learn today in the Bible.
Pastor Mike, Pastor Mike, Pastor Mike, Pastor Mike.
Oh, Harold, I was in the middle of service right now. I was just about to tell the Bible story to the kids. Is there something I can help you with?
I messed up, Pastor. I really messed up, man. I messed up.
Harold, what happened? It really cannot be that bad.
Oh, you don't know, Pastor Mike? You just don't know. It's so bad, it's got a capital B. It's got the capital B. It's got the capital B. It's so bad, it's got the capital B.
Oh, that does sound bad. So explain to me what happened, and I will see if I can help you.
Man, Pastor Mike, I spilled nachos all under my mom's bed, man. It was a mess. I was there eating them, and the next thing you know, I felt the need to dance. And there was not much room under that bed, and I hit the nachos, and they went everywhere. Hot cheese, man. Hot cheese everywhere.
Harold, mistakes happen. You just gotta come clean. And it is a shame that you wasted such a nice plate of nachos, and it must have been a mess. But wait a minute, why were you under your mom's bed?
Oh, that's another story for another day, Pastor Mike. I can't get under my bed at the moment, but that's not the end of the story, man.
Wait, there's more? There's more?
My mom came home and she found out. She smelled the cheese and she found the cheese and she said, Harold, who did this, man? And I said, I don't know, Mom. Wait, I think I do know, Mom. I saw little sister go under the bed. And she had a plate of nachos. Little sister went under the bed with a plate of nachos, Mama, and she must have made the mess. So guess what now, Pastor Mike? My mom is mad at my little sister and she didn't even do it.
Harold, that's not cool. You have to own up to your mistakes. By saying that your sister did it, you just made the situation so much worse. You need to come clean, man.
Pastor Mike, I know, but what should I do? I don't want to get in trouble, but I also don't want my little sister to get in trouble. She didn't spill the nachos under the bed. She didn't spill those nachos under the bed.
Harold, you need to come clean. You need to tell your mom that it was you and not your little sister. You need to make things right.
Well, that is horrible, man. I lost my nachos. I did not get to finish dancing either, and now my sister's in trouble. It's the worst day ever, Pastor Mike. I lost my nachos. I didn't get to dance. There's cheese everywhere, and now my sister's gonna get in trouble. Oh, no.
You can redeem yourself, Harold. You just have to tell the truth. You can make things right. You can redeem this situation, and you can redeem yourself.
Okay, Pastor Mike, I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna come clean. I'm gonna do that. That sounds like it's the best thing to do. I'm gonna come clean, and then I'm gonna clean up the cheese. I'm gonna come clean, and I'm gonna clean up the cheese. I'm gonna come clean, and I'm gonna clean up that cheese.
You never cleaned up the cheese? Harold, how could you do that? How long has it been? That cheese must stink right now.
Well, Pastor Mike, I actually had a plan. I was gonna go back and eat that nacho cheese. Yeah, I was just saving it for later when Mom forgot, and I was gonna go eat that nacho cheese. But I gotta go, okay, Pastor Mike? I gotta go tell Mom. I gotta go redeem myself. I gotta tell her it wasn't little sister under the bed. It wasn't little sister under the bed. It was me under that bed with the plate of nachos. It was under me. It was me with the plate of nachos. All right, Pastor Mike, peace out.
Wow, that's nasty, Harold. But it kind of does put me in the mood for nachos. Ooh, after today's service, I'm gonna get some nachos. It's gonna be so good. But right now, boys and girls, let's check out today's Power Verse.
Cause I like to cook tacos like soup. Oh, hey boys and girls, it's me, Teriyaki. And I was just getting ready to cook up something tasty for my restaurant, Nice Rice. As you know, I'm kind of famous for getting things scrambled. Well, today's Power Verse is extra scrambled, and I need your help. Let's take a look at it. And we know that 828 causes everything to work together for the good of those who love Romans and are called according to his purpose for them. God. Wrong. This is very, very mixed up. Kinda like that time a lady asked me to make her a cup of hot cocoa and I made a cup of hot dogs. She wasn't very happy. Anyway, boys and girls, I need your help getting this power verse unscrambled. Let's look at it together. And we know that 828. Nope, that's not right. Those numbers mean something else. What do you think they're for? Yes, let's move them to the end. Causes everything to work together for the good of those who love Romans. Oh, that doesn't sound right either. Where does Romans go? That's right, the scripture reference. It goes right before 828. And are called according to his purpose for them. God, Romans 8:28. I think God and God don't go with the scripture references. Maybe they go in those two blanks. Yes, that's it. I think we have it. Let's try saying it all together on the count of 3. So stand up and say it with me. 1, 2, 3. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Romans 8:28. That's a great power verse. Let's make sure we can remember it so next time we don't get it mixed up in our brains. Stand up again and let's say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Romans 8:28. Great job, boys and girls. Now, I've got to get back to making this Jell-O. Or is it peanut butter? Either way, until next time, this is Teriyaki saying, Jell-O, can I get some peanut butter?
Boys and girls, let's recap last week's Bible story before we get started. So last week we see Naomi, her husband, her 2 sons, they had to leave Israel. There was a famine, there was no food, so they needed to go to a neighboring country, a foreign land. So they moved, they left Israel. And while they were there, the 2 sons met 2 young ladies and they got married. Exciting, right? Well, this is where it got sad. You see, Naomi's husband passed away. And not just that, Naomi's 2 sons end up passing away too. What a terrible day, right? The husband and her 2 sons pass away. So that leaves Ruth and Orpah widows. Their husbands died. And Naomi felt terrible about this for Ruth and Orpah, so she gave them an option. She says, you don't have to stay with me anymore. Your husbands have passed away. You can go back to your families. So Orpah chose to take what Naomi was offering, and she went back to her family. But Ruth said, no, Naomi, I'm staying with you. The right thing to do is to stay with you. I am not going to go back to Israel. I'm going to stay with you. So that is where we pick up in today's story, boys and girls. You see, Naomi had a distant relative that had some land in Israel, a farm in Israel, and his name was Boaz. And this is where Boaz comes in today's story. And so Naomi has this distant relative. She says, you know what? We need to go back to Israel. The famine's over. We're going to go. And see, this is where Ruth is leaving her hometown. She's staying with Naomi, and she's going into a new foreign land because she knew the right thing is to stay with Naomi and help her out, because that was the right thing to do. And so they go to Israel, and they move in, they make home there. And so one day, Ruth is out in this field picking grain or whatever it is. She's doing something. She's gathering supplies. And while she's there, Boaz confronts her. Boaz finds her there out in the field. And normally, if someone finds you in the field, they'd be like, get out of my field, you foreigner, because again, she's not from Israel. And so he could have come out and said, get off my lawn, get out of my field, get out of here, you don't belong here. But guess what? That is not what Boaz does. Boaz doesn't do that. Boaz says, I know who you are, Ruth. You did an honorable thing. You did an amazing thing by taking care of your mother-in-law, Naomi. I am going to protect you. When Ruth told Naomi what happened, Naomi was excited, guys. She was thrilled to hear what Boaz said, that Boaz had said that he would help take care of them. Because you see, back then, if you were a widow, if your husband had passed away, you would not be able to own your own land. You would not be able to get a job. It would be very hard for you to take care of yourselves. You would need a relative to come alongside and help take care of you. And so that back then was called a kinsman redeemer. A kinsman redeemer. They were a relative that would come alongside you and help you get back on your feet, take care of you, do what a family member should do, right? So Boaz said, but it had to be a close relative. And he said, I'm not the closest relative to you, Naomi. There is a closer one, and I'm going to go talk to them. I am going to go tell them that I said I would take care of you, but it's actually their responsibility. So Boaz goes to this person and says, hey, you have a relative that is in need, and I'm giving you the opportunity to take care of them. And he says this, boys and girls, I don't have the means. I don't have the money to be able to support them and take care of them. So guess what, boys and girls? That means it was now left to Boaz, because he was the next relative in line. And Boaz was thrilled that he is the one that offered in at the beginning anyways, but he did the right thing by going to the other relative. But now he has the opportunity to take care of Ruth and Naomi. Awesome story. So the proper thing to do what was right to take care of them was to marry Ruth. And so that's what Boaz does, boys and girls. Boaz marries Ruth. They are now married. He is now able to take care of her and Naomi. It is amazing. Boys and girls, the story gets even better. I know. Can you imagine it? It gets better than this? Yes. So you see, Ruth and Boaz have a son named Obed. And Obed has a son named Jesse. And Jesse has a son named David. And this David is King David. Whoa, what? So we started off the story last week with Ruth getting married, then her husband passing away, and she chose to stay with her mother-in-law. And they ended up, in today's story, we see that she thought she was going to get in trouble for taking leftovers, and then she finds out that Obed is going to take care of her and her mother-in-law, and then they get married, and then they have a son, and that son has a son, and that son has a son. It becomes King David. Wow, something that we thought, so God used something bad and created something amazing. And that's what I look at the situation we're in now, where we're having to be stuck at home and we can't be with our friends and family, and we couldn't finish school outright, and people are missing graduations and weddings. We think this is terrible, right? Well, I look back at this story where something was terrible that turned into something amazing. And I believe God is going to use what we're going through right now to do something amazing. And I can't wait to see what it is. And so that's why I love today's Bible story, boys and girls. And I hope that you loved it too, and that you remember, even though we're going through some tough times, God can and will turn these tough times around into something amazing. And it's going to be amazing when we get to be back together, worshiping together, singing together, learning together, laughing together. I can't wait till that day comes. But I have loved doing these services for you guys, and I've heard so many stories of you guys enjoying it. and I thank you for watching it every Sunday. Let your friends know. This isn't just for our church. You can let your friends know, your cousins know, your classmates, that they can watch these services too. So remember what we talked about at the beginning of the service today. On June 6th, we have our drive-in movie at 7:30 at the church. And on June 14th, you guys have the opportunity to drive up to the church at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on a Sunday, drop off your missions offering, and then you'll get an opportunity to dunk me in a dunk tank. What? That is amazing. That is awesome. And so again, guys, make sure you follow our social media, our YouTube, our Facebook, and we're now on Mixer. If your kids love watching people play video games, we do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. The time is on our kids' website at WSFkids.com. So we know kids love watching people play video games, and we also give them the opportunity to jump in and play with me too. So it's going to be awesome. I love you guys. I miss you guys and can't wait till we're back together again. But you guys have an amazing week. We'll see you next Sunday.